was going to say, and I'm going to be honest. The whole not having workbooks and not having a textbook thing is stupid.
Right.
I'm going to say there's going to be a day, there's going to be a fucking EMP let loose, and our electronics going to be shit. How in the hell kids are going to learn?
They're not, man. I mean, it's just...
I mean, and that's another thing that, let's go back to the original subject matter, an area that we should, I could do better at. I would be thinking, wait a minute, where it happened? It's like 50 years, back in the 50s, we had contingency plans for the whole society. What if we got nuked? I mean, obviously we'd be all dead eventually, but
Yeah, we got anti-missile fucking guns now.
Well, that's not the point. No one thinks of the clusterfuck moment and say, we need to prepare for that just in case. People just presume nothing bad's going to happen, and 5 minutes later, something...
Well, the top 1%
school.
are protected. They got places to go when we get nuked.
Well, that's not what
school.
I'm saying. I'm just saying...
People can go to the store and fucking fill up their refrigerator for fucking 3 years worth of food. They don't know how to scavenge for shit.
Well, it's like, but there's people who, like I get these ads for like on my YouTube feed about this company that, for $600 you get 3 years worth of dehydrated army food, more or less.
Right.
And stuff. People are prepared, and around here, we're a little bit better off. Small towns, wooded areas, we can hunt and fish and farm for our own.
Well, we think so until there's no.
Until there's a furry come around.
Well, until there's no grocery store, and everybody has to hunt or gather. People are gonna die.
Only the strong will survive.
That's what I'm saying is people don't know how to live off the land partially, and people don't know how to plan for emergencies.
Right. The best part is the people that don't know, they'll be robbing each other in town, and they'll just be shooting each other and killing each other, while the people that know a little bit will be out there trying to get some real food.
But when I was...
defenses for them dumb motherfuckers that come out there.
Well, I mean, that's why like shows like The Living Dead and stuff is Walking Dead is Night of the Living Dead too, but
I'm taking over the school if that happens.
But I wasn't saying
rally up.
Courthouse, get the highest point.
There you go.
You can go up there and snipe motherfuckers.
Well, there ain't no food in the courthouse.
But what I'm saying,
I'm sure there's a kitchen.
But the real horror is not the zombies or the walker.
What are you doing over there?
I'm talking about but what I was saying, it's not the zombies or the walkers, it's the other person that you have to compete with for resources.
Right.
That's a societal collapse. It's like my goal.
And the reason you'll have to compete is because people don't know this shit because it's no longer taught.
It's not people that don't know this shit. People just don't want to think about bad shit and refuse to. Well, I'm sorry. Here's a little fun fact about my favorite TV show, Star Trek. It's a post-apocalyptic future. People had to go through bad shit to make it better. That's my whole point of this subject. You have to go through bad shit, difficulties, to make something go better. And yes, sounds like a little bit hypocrite. Any of my relatives say this, but at the same time, you're talking to someone who works hard, who eventually pulled out to.
It works kind of hard.
Well, but everything I do, I did for my. I partially. Not completely, but a lot of stuff I do, I pulled myself out when I was. We all do that. Now, people just want to mope and
progress, not perfection.
Progress is progress. People just think Star Trek. Star Trek. Everything's going to get better and better day by day. No. Here's a little fun fact in life. Read a history book. Rome fell. Greece fell, Babylon fell, all the great societies in history, Egypt, the Aztec, the Inca.
Yeah. America will fall.
The Soviet Union fell. But that's just inevitable. I'm not speaking as someone who's anti-American. I am pro-American. I love my country. I love the ideas we represent. But history shows this will happen.
Yeah.
And we need to think, instead of conserving my power, what I have, and only thinking for me, we should think about the community. We should think about everyone else also.
Oh yeah, if everybody gave 100% and then did one other thing to help everybody, there'd be no more problems in the world.
Well, yeah.
But that'll never happen.
So back on the
greed
furries,
exists.
are they mentally unstable or is it just a phase, you think?
It's partially a sexual subculture, like it says. Part of it is just a subculture of people wanting to dress up like Mickey Mouse or whatever. And
So they're just fucked up in the head.
In my mind, it's a branch off of cosplayers. So
when these people grow up, like, do these people work like this? Are they allowed to go into their place of work and fucking be a fucking fur baby or whatever the fuck?
No.
Exactly. So.
But what it's like but does a gay person flaunt his gayness every day?
Sometimes.
Sometimes,
Every
yes,
day
but
they
most
do.
of the time they just wake up, kiss their husband or wife, go into work.
Well, exactly.
The old ones do.
There's nothing wrong with being gay, especially if you're not fucking making it known. Like that's one of my biggest problems is like gay pride. Okay, it's fine to have pride in this shit, but when that's your identity,
You
when
push
you
it on
make
me?
being gay your fucking identity and everything about
Well,
you is that
it's-
shit, you're just fucked up in the head.
Well, it's not even that.
It's like me going around being straight man everywhere, wearing a
Well,
fucking straight man shirt, got straight man on
Well,
my bumper,
according-
fucking, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep,
just
straight man,
According to
straight man,
them,
fuck man.
We straight people do that daily, and we just don't realize it. For them, there's
Like, how's
also a
that?
history of persecution, and they're building a community. I myself, as someone who envies gay culture in the sense of how well of a community they
I fucking knew it.
no. I envy
Just
gay.
playing, dude.
How do you know?
It's okay though.
It's okay, you know.
I know I'm straight, but I envy people who build a culture so quickly. ADHD, what I have, and other learning disabilities have been known since the 1840s. It had different names back then, but documentation says it's the same disorder, historically speaking. So, yet we just now are finally building communities and finding each other online.
Well, that's kind of a conundrum for people with ADHD, though, right? To build a community, everybody's ADHD,
Scatterbrain motherfucker.
right? And I'm just saying.
Dude, I'm
how's that-
scatterbrained as fuck,
how's that
man.
gonna be-
It's ADHD are not always scatterbrained. We ADHD.
I have
Oh, yeah.
ADHD, I think, too, but not nearly
I'm
extreme as
scatterbrained
you. I
as
don't
fuck,
think, but
man.
But ADHDers can do something called hyperfocus, and we also
like sit in a studio for fucking 2 days straight with nothing to do except drink water, smoke weed, and make music.
hyperfocus
I do that.
is hyperfocus is we can super focus on one thing for hours on end.
Yes.
Like I can watch Star Trek back in the day for hours on end. Now not so much. It's not ADHD. It's just
Boring. He's like, fuck, it really is boring. He's starting to realize it.
no. It's like shit.
It's just no more fun when you know every
it's 3
line.
in the afternoon. I need to mow my yard. It's finally cool enough for to do that or whatever. You know.
So, in your opinion, what is the biggest stride people with ADHD have made in the last 100 years?
Biggest stride is last 100 years.
Is there a group, an ADHD
There's-
group?
ADHDers. I mean, put ERs.
Well,
No, you know, everybody's got their group or whatever the
groups,
fuck.
Where do I
there's
sign up?
Organizations and stuff. I can't think of the names, but there's I was going to
I'm
say
gonna list.
Anon, but I think I'm confusing them all.
Well, that's,
I'm all
those
over the
type
fucking
of
place.
organizations and
But
groups
there's
are usually
support-
the ones that make the biggest
The biggest stride
strides.
is happening right now on a large level is we are finding communities like on YouTube and message boards and finding each other and talking about best coping strategies and stuff.
Right, because Biden's not helping the group out, man.
Oh,
No.
well,
He's
the
part of the
best
group, right?
president for the disabled community was Bush 41. He
No,
signed.
Trump. I mean, he supported.
No, but Bush 41 signed the Americans with Disabilities Act that helps all peoples with anything that's covered under that law, not just learning disabilities and ADHD and mental illness, but physically disabled, the blind, the deaf, the wheelchair.
He's the one that actually put that act into making mental health and
and
regular
before
fucking
that
health
is
one thing.
Nixon. The IEP system was happened under the Nixon era, and I don't like Nixon, despite the fact I'm technically a Republican like he is. But
What did he do that was so wrong? I mean, I don't get
wow, Watergate, open relations between the Republic of China and stuff like that. But that's
Stuff like that. Just stuff like that. Carry on. Next, so it says here that 6 to 8 million people in the U.S. have ADHD.
Sounds about right. Can I make there's channels, there's a person I watch on YouTube at least once or twice a
it. You want
week.
to shout out?
Shout
out
out.
another channel?
It's called How to ADHD. She is an ADHDer herself.
Shoot, I
and
might
her
even watch it.
channel is quite an inspiration to me. She is I believe, some kind of actress or former actress, and started looking into research and saying, and I find her channel, I can't think of her real name, but she does her opening things, Hello Brains and stuff, and it's quite inspirational for me, and her stuff can help me from time to time, not all the time, but
Right on.
Was it like exercises and shit or what?
a little bit of everything. Just covers.
What about
from-
memory?
Huh? ADHD people have more limited short-term memory, but excellent long-term memory.
See, I have a terrible memory, dude. Like,
Um,
I mean, like, is there anything on there that has, like, that she
But
talks about
any
fixing
type
it?
of-
Not fixing it,
any
but
type
helping it.
of mental illness disorder, there's so many variants and so many ways of you can. What they do is, if you have the majority of the symptoms checked off and you have them, you have that disorder.
Like a fidget?
Well, I just didn't know if she had anything
fidget
on there
one of the
about
checks.
memory.
Yeah. There's something on memory and stuff.
Right on, because I've
If it's short-term memory, it's probably ADHD. But long-term,
even bought walnuts, man, because they say walnuts help with memory.
yes, there's a lot of chips like that. There's a lot of, she discusses research, and she's trying to build a community on her on YouTube channel.
Yeah, who
which
is
I'm
it?
part of. Once again, it's How to ADHD.
Nice.
And
Cool.
I
Go
love
check
her.
out How to ADHD. You know what I'm saying? Come on, Roy.
She's not bad looking.
She's gonna be watching this now because she's about
Oh,
to get tagged in
dang.
this video.
American
I think
actress.
she's engaged, actually. So
It
Jessica
doesn't matter. You can say
McCabe.
if she's attractive or not. It's
Man,
just a
she's
compliment.
attractive.
Okay.
They're at the altar and you can stop.
She's a redhead.
It's a compliment.
She's a redhead.
She's attractive, but I'm not watching her for her attractiveness.
Okay, even
Right
better.
there.
Yes. Okay.
Jessica McCabe. She's
Yeah.
an American actress.
Yes, and she, like I said,
She hotter.
I mean, yeah. Definitely,
but that's the greatest stride.
keep it
What
PG.
we need to know is, I think our next great stride is what she's trying to do right now, is to make the world more ADHD accessible, and making the culture aware that people with ADHD aren't fuck-ups and screw-ups. Just people just like you guys.
So what does ADHD actually classify as in the
I'm a
fucking?
fuck up in a screw.
It
In the
is
medical-
now it's considered a mental
Damn, Roy.
illness. It's more akin to say bipolar depression. It's under the DSM-5 instead of 4.
Okay.
That what happened is the American Medical Association decided, what I understand, I could be wrong. Hashtag could be wrong, but what I understand is they decided to stop listing it as a learning disability and more as a mental illness. But it still exists.
Right.
And that's another great stride. What we need to do is stop with so much of the ADHD deniers. There's some people say, oh, back in the day, kids always acted like this. Which is true. Kids, especially boys, are always more hyperactive.
And let me ask you a question without being not poking fun or anything. Like, is there anybody else in your family with severe ADHD like yourself?
I have a sister that has diagnosed with ADHD. I don't think it's as severe.
I mean more like grandparents or great uncles.
I have, I believe, a great nephew. So, if it's so many people in your line,
it's hereditary or whatever.
There's so I could have ancestors with it.
But they say it's not that necessarily hereditary, right?
There's a genetic component.
So my question is, because of your other sibling also having it, were you guys ever tested for lead poisoning?
Probably. Me and my sister got separated early on, so I was presumed because of the ADHD diagnosis, because lead poisoning is another factor of causing ADHD.
Right, yeah, because they never test anybody for this shit.
Right.
And the real only reason we know is we've taken the lead contractor to make. There's all kinds of shit you got to learn about it, but
yeah,
every house that I ever grew up in was covered in lead paint. And we
Yes.
were never ever tested for this shit. And
yeah,
it's about everybody I know.
But there's also there's a portion of it that is genetically inheritable, and how it is.
Right.
Now, at least in my line, it could be inherited because there's some other family members just discussing stuff and stuff and
Here
figuring.
it says ADHD tends to run in families, and in most cases, it's through the genes you inherit from your parents.
Yes.
Are a significant factor in developing the condition.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to get at.
Research shows that parents and siblings of someone with ADHD are more likely to have ADHD themselves.
Well, and here's the thing. You want a great fictional example of an ADHDer is Bart Simpson. Look at Homer. He has to have it. I believe Marge has it. That would make Lisa have it. It all manifests differently.
Okay.
ADHD as a disorder manifests differently in different people.
Typically from birth.
Yeah, we also use the term neuroatypical to describe us and other disorders like autism and stuff as neuroatypical, including people with mental illnesses and stuff.
So Asperger, is that same thing?
Asperger's is on the autism spectrum, I believe. Hashtag not a doctor, obviously. I'm not.
Right. What's with the hashtags, man?
I don't know. It's YouTube.
Hashtag motherfucking.
But
What's your YouTube name?
analysis
Roy
of sci-fi.
Analysis.
Hashtag Roy
sci-fi.
Jones.
I actually would be getting a second channel pretty soon for more comedy skits and stuff.
Are you copying us or what?
No, more like wanting to work with you
I'm
guys.
just kidding.
You know who else he could play? The fucking guy in the wheelchair on Scary Movie. I don't need your help, lady. I can do it myself. Fuck, you know that part?
Oh yeah. It's been I only seen that part once. I haven't seen the whole series of the film.
Is he the one that says my germs?
But
no, it's the other
but
guy with the hand.
but-
My germs.
But ADHD itself is a lot of us actually view it as a blessing. You look at how many actors and comedians have it. Real life people that have it is Emma Watson, Howie Mandel, Justin Timberlake.
And those people all have high IQs.
Yeah, ADHDers
Yes.
are not dumb. A lot of people say, "Oh, ADHDers are not." I mean, we can be dumb. We're human beings. You know, there's dumb people in every group.
But I think
Hashtag
it also
humanity's not perfect.
the ADHD also
Hashtag Roy is in the house.
the individual knows they need to do the what they need to do, but the ADHD keeps them from doing that.
Yes, we get distracted easily.
Right, like you need to go and do that task.
You're not gonna
You
do
do
it,
it, but
though, 'cause
you
you're not
just
interested in it.
yeah, you just keep putting it off. Like for something in your brain that just
procrastination can increase.
yeah.
That's gonna freeze it for
Dude, I have procrastination like you wouldn't believe. I wrote a fucking paper on it and didn't finish it. So
there.
like
I just
that tells you
didn't-
something.
I wasn't there twiddling my thumbs or
Yeah, how's that cock beater doing anyway?
what?
Your dick beater, how's that doing?
My hand?
Yeah, last time you heard that fucker was flayed in half.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
It's healing.
Oh, nice. Took that Band-Aid off,
Finally
let it get some
healing.
air, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should take a blow dryer to that motherfucker and dry it up, man. The bitch was fucking wet.
Yeah.
It's just like.
Well, welcome to Northwest Ohio, former swampland.
Doesn't mean your finger has.
I know, man.
But what I was saying with ADHD and stuff, it's
I'm back to the
back
to the shit.
You still have people, and it's mostly, and no disrespect to our parents' generation, the boomers don't understand this. It's just how.
Yeah, they called you stupid and hit you with shit.
No. Well, my mom.
That's
never
what my
hit
parents
me
did.
because of my
Fucking hit me in the
idiot.
side, the narrow end of a paddle every once in a while.
No. What I was saying, they are the more. And I encountered a lady I used to work with that said ADHD didn't exist. It's made up. And like I said, it came out in the 1840s. It was discovered in 1840s or mid 19th century somewhere. I think 1840s. I'm history buff. I should have known it in my own diagnosis. Unfortunately, it's not the history I like.
Just getting distracted.
But
That's that ADHD.
Who, me?
No.
Oh,
Me.
I'm laughing at this shit because this is like me.
But what I was saying, it is been documented for centuries now, and it's according to some people, it's one of the most well documented mental illnesses in history. We know what causes it and stuff, and we know there's a link. You can be have two disorders at once, ADHD, and another one like Asperger's or depression.
But what does cause it?
Like you said, genetics. It's my brain chemistry, not.
Well, I know that, but like, there's got to be a reason, like how it started. You know what I mean? Like,
It's
There's the hunter versus gatherer hypothesis. Look that up. I can't remember the whole detail, but some of us ADHDers tend to be more risk takers.
yeah,
So-
fuck yeah,
Fuck are.
yeah.
With other people.
I'll tell you that. I can tell you right here. This is what I was laughing at. The 3 categories of symptoms of ADHD include the following: inattention, short attention span for age, difficulty sustaining attention, difficulty listening to others. Impulsivity, often interrupts others. I do that. Hyperactivity, seems to be in a constant motion, runs or climbs at times with no apparent goal except motion.
Yeah.
That's what I was laughing at.
Have you
Climb this
ever
tree, fuck
tried?
Dude, because when I was walking to fucking O'Reilly's, I was walking in front of the goddamn courthouse, and the curb's there, and I just fucking jumped up on the curb and jumped back down. Just kept walking, dude, I swear to God. And I was like, man, that was some fucked up shit.
often driven like by a motor.
Yeah. Man, that's fucked up.
ADHDers, the ADHD community is very much like that. But we also do something called masking. We try to make ourselves seem more normal. It usually doesn't.
Well, you sit there and get all nervous, then that's why you can tell the motherfucker's
And it's like,
not comfortable.
It's like
Socially awkward,
here.
you know? Trying to talk to fucking
I'm
females
more
is weird.
comfortable here, but there's always times that you have to act well behaved and stuff. And there's a video on how the ADHD about that, but she can do a better job describing it. But how ADHD is and how I describe this, I'm a normal person that happens to have a different. My brain works slightly differently.
You know what I do?
Yeah.
I smoke heavy amounts of marijuana.
Well,
And it slows
some
my
people
brain
do
down, dude.
suggest microdosing of marijuana as a treatment.
Right.
I don't think Ohio will allow that for medical reasons.
Doesn't that take longer?
I get this shit.
Just show them your finger, they'll give you a card. Like, oh, you did
No,
that.
seriously, dude.
Yeah.
Like you can.
No, I'm about way to.
Do you got any kind of medical history?
Just tell him you got AIDS.
I took Ritalin for like until junior high.
Okay, yeah. There's medical history. You can take that shit to a doctor and be like, look, man, I need some weed because I'm a space cadet and
One bro got
this
me
supposedly
high
helps me.
I really liked it.
I'm saying it's.
No. But what I'm saying is, it's not necessarily trying to legal. It's not about pot or anything. It's because a lot of ADHDers I have met and myself are right now unmedicated. It's all a mind game. It's all like
They use
Austin likes to say.
alcohol.
Yep.
We do have an increase of percentage of alcoholism.
What did I say?
Right. Trying to cope.
But
Trying to
it's all
slow
up
yourself
here.
down, man.
I was one of them, man.
The thoughts just keep going.
You have to control it.
And that's why people are like they're highly functional at shit that they like to do.
Yes.
Most people that are experts at shit are fucking ADHD, and that's the only thing that grabs their attention and
Yeah,
keeps
pretty
them,
much.
It's
Pretty much. It's like
Yeah.
it's I can explain different details of stuff.
Wow.
But I mean,
it's obsessive.
44%
That's
of
why
the
people are alcoholic.
It can
and-
borderline
Yeah.
into that area.
Yeah, exactly.
44% of the participants with ADHD meet the criteria for alcohol abuse or dependence,
Yes.
compared with
Yes,
27% of the
that's
control
another
participants.
sign of my ancestry is on my biological mother's side. There's a few alcoholics in the family.
That was at it. That was a study for young adults at 25.
Yes.
Native Americans is 98% alcoholism
Well,
on
it's,
fucking
that's not necessarily.
conservations.
I don't think it's necessarily ADHD, but
No, but Talking
all
about
of
alcoholism.
all people I met who were Native American or First Nations or Aboriginal North American inhabited peoples, I have never met a dumb one. Personal opinion.
yeah, they're just drunk.
Well, there's few of them. There's a. I never met someone who is.
Indian Bob, Indian Joe,
Well,
Indian
I have
Jake.
met a few
They're
Native
all drunk.
Americans.
I
They're
know.
Indian Bob.
they're not dumb people in the sense of book smart or not books or common sense. They're just people. I had never met a. But what I'm saying of ADHD, as there's different theories why it came out evolutionary speaking. If there's any creationists in the room, I'm just speaking of the scientific theory. I do not necessarily buy into that creationism or evolution. I'm just stating a theory, but there has to have been a reason why ADHD was needed for us to survive.
Well, I think a lot of that is, and I don't mean to don't take this the wrong way, but people fuck up natural selection with technology constantly.
Oh yeah.
And I don't mean to say this like for instance, my
formula.
babies were born 3 months premature.
Yeah.
10, 12 years ago, they wouldn't have made it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like our technical advances
Yeah.
are also going to be our downfall at some point because we somehow make it okay and we continue the pattern.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Making the human race weaker by
And like I said,
Correct.
ADHDers are tend to be more more risk takers. And yes, I have done a lot of accidents, especially this past week at work. But
Dude, I hurt
what
myself all the time.
Is
In his defense, though, he's been trying to be quicker at shit.
Right.
So he's been ignoring certain
And
things.
at the same time, there's like you said, there's a wide variety of people that fall into this category.
yeah, there's
So-
a wide variety, and we can have multiple diagnoses of. I have depression. Some people say I also show signs of some aspect of the Asperger's spectrum disorder.
Right. Everybody I've ever met that had, or not met or heard about that had Asperger's was like incredibly smart.
Autism spectrum disorder. Sorry. Yeah, they are. I used to work with one guy. I think he lives in this town, but he's a big sports guy and he knows the statistics on the top of his head.
Right.
But that's super specific.
It's like that
I mean,
obsessive
there's
compulsive
almost
factor
no
too.
practical use to that unless he wants to work for ESPN.
damn son. And just tell them like that.
Why
You're
would
like,
I want to be on Enterprise? That show.
I'm just saying, Roy, it's not gonna happen.
yeah,
Well, yeah,
not gonna be around the bush.
It could be.
But
What a waste of time.
Oh, what the fuck?
well, at the same time, it's a hobby though.
I know that's what I'm saying. That's what
Just bought
it's
these.
a hobby.
But
You know how to make that happen? You contact the people that are in charge of all that fucking rights shit, and you email them every single day, and you bombard them, you hoard them, you fucking send them material.
No, because
it eventually gets to the
talking
point.
about the stuff too much to sign an NDA and get my ass in trouble.
No, all you just tell them you just want to like advertise their show for them or whatever the
Well,
fuck, and they'll help build
I
your
already
page.
do advertise the show for them for
We got a
reviews
Filetto
to
anywhere?
Star Trek.
Exactly. So why wouldn't they want to fucking sponsor you in your show?
Well, it's
Anybody got a Filetto?
I don't want to give
That
them
drawer.
that
Need a
editorial
Filetto?
control. I don't want to give them that much of
Well,
editorial.
at the same time, yeah, that's why you're in control of the deal. Because there's nothing wrong with you. Like maybe they'll make you blur out their shit if you keep.
Gracias.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, I don't show footage, but I don't want them to mandate and say, "Yo, you must think every new episode is great."
But what if they send you a bunch of audio equipment and a fucking backdrop and a bunch of shit to make your show that much better?
I wouldn't care. I myself am someone who I am not someone who necessarily is cruel to Star Trek. There's a lot of YouTubers that are extremely hateful of new Star Trek. I often say the new Star Trek is good, but it's not for me.
This is the first one, right? The one that's just coming out? They're making it the first one, right?
No, the first one is actually what he said, Enterprise.
1986.
No, it says they're making the
Strange New Worlds.
That's the number one, it says.
Strange New World is set 7
It's
years
number 5, technically, right?
Well,
No, it said it was number one.
It's technically number 5, I think.
Or
Are
five,
you
bro.
talking about films or a series?
I'm talking about
The new movie.
Star Wars they put out. Because you can't have 2 number 1s, man.
Yeah, it's a new Star Wars.
This is a conundrum
Trek.
we're running into here.
Well,
New Star Trek.
The newest series is Strange New Worlds, but let me explain in the timeline.
So it's not the same, right?
No,
So
there's
it's number 5.
several different Star Trek shows. There's Star Trek Enterprise, which is set in the 2250s, 2150s. There is Star Trek Strange New Worlds is the late 2250s, and there's Star Trek the original series, the one from the 60s, from the 2260s. Then you have Next Generation, which is 24th century.
So what was
Space
the
Nine.
very, very first blip of Star Wars on the map? What the fuck was it?
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Very first blip of Star Wars is something called Buck Rogers.
Okay, that's number
Flash
1.
Gordon. What? That's it.
On Star Wars?
But for
Flash
Star
Gordon
Trek,
was on Star Wars?
Star Trek, there's the Lensman series.
Flash!
This isn't working out.
Oh,
Yes, the Queen song. Yeah.
Defender of the Universe or something like that.
Star Wars actually tried to start life as a Flash Gordon project, and George Lucas had to adapt it. Thank God.
So George Lucas made Flash Gordon.
No, George Lucas wanted to make his own version of Flash Gordon.
So
the
it's
fuck
kind of
is
like
Flash
Steamboat
Gordon?
Willie and fucking Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Fucking rip that shit off.
About Rat Fink.
Yes, yeah, kinda. You know, it's not rip off; it's he's inspired by it.
Well, okay.
Inspired
I don't
by-
see
we
any kind of
we
Flash
don't want
Gordon in Star
Disney-
Wars. So
we don't want to piss off the mouse.
who? Mickey?
Mickey?
Well,
I fucking
Heard
grew up like
some
Mickey
shit
Mouse,
about
though.
fucking Walt Disney and the CIA. They use fucking underground tunnels and shit
well,
for fucking kids and shit, dude.
Oh, you just snatch them.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not really big in the, but
Fucking
what
two
I'm
kids go
saying,
missing every
Star
night, Disney World.
Trek. There's so many.
They didn't
different
doctorate these
series.
kids. That's why Britney Spears.
It's even for hardcore fans now. It's getting hard for us to get the timeline, but that's not. But
So they're
like I was-
making.
I mean, I don't know why we're doing Star Trek now, but
I don't know. Okay, so.
Well, this
You
show's
need-
about ADHD, right? Or doing
Well, no,
things better.
yeah. To say, how could you make Star Trek better?
So how could you do ADHD better?
I wa-
You never did answer that shit.
how I can do ADHD better is it's different for different people. I want to do Star Trek one after this one, but that question makes me. I really want to say that. But what I am
Got
going
'em.
to say, how do you do ADHD better, is to
What? How the
mainly
fuck do you do that?
focus on what I'm doing and stuff like that. But how we
Great.
are making it better is building our community, building our awareness of the disorder, and explaining to people what it is. That's how we're doing ADHD better.
How can I help make people more
There
aware?
is charities you can donate.
You don't need no money.
I don't need no money, but the greater organization, but there's groups you can help out with.
I mean, in the community,
it's like
in our
any-
community, here in Bryan fucking Stank, Ohio.
Mentor a kid, help.
What I do, yeah, is I mentor
Ma-
a kid.
Okay.
I try to
Oh my
teach
God.
him to be better.
Yeah, do what I do. Don't do what I
Austin, we're
do.
the Same age.
You're older than me, actually.
Wait.
Still, I'm over here helping. Teaching.
But you know,
Who's helping
go
who?
to a library and help a kid learn how to read. Help them with his math homework.
How you
My
can't
problem is
because they don't got
I'm
no
not good at
fucking
reading.
workbooks.
I mean, I can read like a
Go-
motherfucker. I
go
can't spell
board
for
and say-
shit though.
I already told them, and they go, you know what? There's nothing we can do. We can't help you. But instead of giving you workbooks and shit, we're just gonna give your kid another fucking math class.
Well,
That's what it is.
Here's the thing.
That's what they did.
If I was you, I would be trying to talk to someone.
It was fucking, you know what, and all they fucking told me to do? This is what the one fucking lady told me to do. And I said, and I clearly stopped looking at her fucking, because she told me, she just stated how dumb she was. She goes, maybe try this. Maybe Bella teaches you, and then you can help her. I said, then, how the fuck does, I was like, how does that work? I was like, then she don't need me. I was like, fuck, man.
Well, I kind of see what she's trying to do. She's trying to teach you teaching thyself.
What?
A lot of HD. Another thing about ADHD is a lot of us are.
No,
self-taught
you still don't get it. The school doesn't want you to fucking teach your kid.
Well, yes, and I think as a taxpayer, I mean, of a different community, obviously, but as a taxpayer and as a citizen of the state, I think the state education board needs to get involved, and with this and
This is all designed.
Reform.
The school system is not designed to make your kids smart.
No,
It's not.
No, it's
That's
not.
why the
It's
government
not. It's
hires
Designed to create them and make them
Borns to do their fucking
it's a
smart shit.
We're all ADD.
so. But
Yeah, my turn.
Ahem.
Look at this motherfucker.
I actually had to clear my phone.
You're on my shit, bitch.
But what I'm saying, it's all how the school system is, and this is another thing we can fix. It's all about social stratification, especially around small towns like
Yeah,
this.
fuck Brian.
Or because
He's like, well,
I tell people this all the time. Oh, I like small towns. They're like Mayberry. No, they're in place.
Mayberry.
Andy Griffith Show, Mayberry.
I knew you were talking about it.
In place. It's a soap opera book movie.
I feel like you were raised like a cable guy.
Partially. Except I'm not batshit crazy.
Do you think that might have contributed to your ADHD? You're
But
focused on something and somebody comes up, starts talking to you, you're like, hey,
well,
what's wrong with you, boy?
probability, but it also would help. Definitely helped me learn stuff. I watch a lot of documentaries.
Right. So here's a question for you. How'd you do in school?
Different subjects I did poorly. I'm in the middle. In the rankings, I'm roughly in the middle.
I fucking just wondering because I couldn't fucking pass a class to save my life because I just couldn't keep my attention, dude. I'm like,
history, government,
Me neither.
I dropped out.
geography
Like,
was more or less. The social studies subjects are more or less my strong suit.
right.
Science,
Right, 'cause it
followed by
interests you.
science. and
Well,
all.
that's what I'm wondering because to
When
me,
it comes to English and literature, English I was bad at, but
Oh, a lot of shit.
literature I was good at, ish. So,
I just remember fucking, they put me in reading class right after lunch. Yeah, I just fucking, right after lunch. Walk up there, fucking open up the book. And try and look Mr. fucking Whiteman come around.
I was in Horizons for math, which is advanced
Oh, yeah, me too.
class and shit. But then I was in
Yeah.
fucking special ed for reading.
I was in all that shit
yeah,
too.
and that's
Here's your helmet.
That's another thing. They quit mainstreaming the kids in areas they're good in. Well, I just realized this the other day, and this is purely anecdotal, meaning it's hearsay. But I heard that all kids with learning disabilities now are in the special ed room from the start of the school day to an end. I was mainstream, and I think it was kind of experimental when I was in high school.
It's kind of segregation, isn't it?
It
You kicked that in the home ec room, didn't you?
Damn.
I don't know.
I remember the home ec room.
I did
Remember
take home
Mike
ec
Marinchak
class.
beat up that one fucking kid?
I remember Mrs. Goldbold fucking yoked up what was it, Hendrix and fucking
Hendrix,
and Mike
Terry
Marinchak
Hendrix.
at the same
No,
time.
Alan Hendrix.
Like just
Yeah.
Terry Hendricks is a car dealer.
Yeah, his name was Alan Hendricks. He was a foster kid. We had so many damn foster kids in fucking Stryker. It was crazy. They were
We
in
had
and
a few
out.
in Fayette also, but what I was saying the school system is actually classist. They want to keep the poor kids poor and the rich kids rich as much as possible. And you know, and the best way I describe this is the school system, and especially the school social structure, reflects the outside community. All the popular kids are the rich ones. All the unpopular kids are the poor ones. And
Right.
there's no way you know. And
Right. You're either or.
And the biggest misconception of fucking schooling in general is people think that you're smart if you go to college.
that's not.
There's most of the people in college are dumb motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Most of the people who choose to go to college either had mommy and daddy pay for it, or they either work their way through, either getting a job, joining the military, whatever, and using that money to work them for, you know, earn it themselves.
Does a community college count? 'Cause I went to a 2-year program, and
Yeah, that does actually count.
I paid for myself though,
Yes.
but I didn't finish because of personal reasons.
Well, but that's what I'm a college
Right.
dropout too.
I just didn't, you know what I mean?
But what I was trying to get at is most people, it's just talking about a lot of the 4-year degrees and stuff.
Right.
They think college is like Animal House and there's another movie like
Animal.
I was going to say Meatballs or something. Like that.
Nobody knows those movies besides our age. It's funny.
But you know, it's like partying, getting laid and stuff.
Porky's was a good one.
It's school, folks. And if there's anyone under the age, if you want to party, you can party just as hard in your hometown.
I went to college parties all the time.
Fuck yeah.
But let me finish.
BG was the place to be.
But you can
Toledo,
you can party just
Columbus.
as hard and go on spring break at the same time as the college kids and still work a 40-hour-a-week job at a factory or a store or whatever and still do that on your off time.
Right. I get you.
But you don't need to go to college for that. If you want to go to college for the fun, don't go to pay my tax dollars to.
Yeah, and go when you're 19 to 24, not when you're 40.
Well,
It's a little
not
weird
necessarily.
there.
I believe a person.
I find it harder to learn sitting down. I don't know.
And
Or maybe it's easier.
That's another thing. Not everyone learns the same way with
Right.
ADHD.
I gotta work. I gotta actually start seeing it and doing it.
A lot of ADHDers are hands-on. Me, I'm a little bit of both. I can sit down because growing
too.
up, I had a hard time reading, and I still do to a certain extent. But
Yeah.
I learn a lot of stuff by verbal
Right.
acuity.
I'm the same way, and I know I'm so scatterbrained that I all day, like I try to anyways, work on multiple things at the same time.
Yeah, and I get
It's
nothing
like
done.
Multitasking.
I have to, otherwise I'll fucking go
another
crazy.
fun percent of
But
ADHD.
everything never takes forever to get done.
But you know,
My house.
I mean, as the original question, how can we improve it? We are improving it. It's just going to take time. I'm very proud of channels like How to ADHD and people pointing out positive role models and positive characters of different disorders. Not necessarily ADHD only, but there's different disorders similar to ADHD, like autism or whatever.
Right.
Because a lot of people pointed out Spock has signs of autism and dyslexia
Who's Spock?
from Star Trek.
Star Wars.
Star
For real?
Trek. In my opinion, James T. Kirk
This
has...
guy?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
There's also... fans interpret that way. Captain Kirk, in my opinion, especially the new Kirk, Chris Pine, that version of Kirk
Captain
is
Kirk.
ADHD as hell. So, I mean, there's positive role models. Like I said, Bart Simpson and stuff like that. There's positive characters out there in fiction.
Bart Simpson, role model. Why do you think Bart Simpson is?
He is just as smart as Lisa, but, I mean, yes, he's a little mischievous because he's a boy.
No, he kept grabbing that fucking cupcake and I kept zapping him and he just kept fucking grabbing it.
Oh, kids are kids.
He ain't very smart.
What about Hank Hill?
Motherfucking Hank Hill.
Is possibly a little bit autism disorder.
That motherfucker
Not
is cool.
X,
Coco
i.e.
propane.
not a doctor, i.e. a fictional character. So, but
You boys been whacking in my tooth.
but another thing,
Yeah.
but that's how Hank is. He also might he might also have ADHD because a lot of ADHDers like structure. Ironically, as how scattered brain we are, we actually love structure because it keeps us focused.
Right.
That's why I like when I'm at work. I like structure. So now I gotta come out there.
So, do you know? Are you a fan of Beavis and Butthead?
Yeah, I'm excited about that new movie. I'm definitely going to be reviewing it on my channel.
Right on.
It's a science fiction.
So,
film.
what was Hank Hill's name on Beavis and Butthead?
I can't remember it.
Me neither. I didn't know if it was Beavis or Hank Hill or not.
The character,
I don't know if it is or not.
it is a proto Hank Hill though. It is a because
prototype.
They're saying everybody's saying that Hank Hill has Asperger's.
Oh, it's because he talks like this.
Autism. Asperger's is part of the autism.
I didn't know a fictional character could have.
Patience told me I have autism.
Huh?
Patience, my wife told me I have autism.
And once again,
She says you're autistic, and I'm like,
it's possible for a person. It's possible for a person to carry multiple diagnoses. But
slow yourself down a
Go
little
ahead,
bit,
put
Roy.
her down.
yeah, I was waiting for you to get done.
No?
Oh,
Oh,
he's
negative.
like, oh,
But what I was saying, autism and Asperger's autism, you can't have both. I mean, you can't have ADHD and Asperger's autism or whatever.
So why do they call it Asperger's, dude?
Usually disorders are named after the doctors you did.
It's like if I could have anything, it'd be like, please don't let me have Asperger's, man. I got some people I got Asperger's.
Well,
well, I hate to
It's not. It's really. It's spelled a little different the way
It's
you
like,
really
it's like
pronounce
Burger
it.
King, man. Asperger's and shit.
But see, you're autistic though.
Because I asked the doctor once about because I had a hemorrhoid or something. Why it's called a hemorrhoid? The doctor that discovered this disorder,
Motherfucker with hemorrhoids.
it was called
Dr. Hemorrhoid.
It was called Dr. Hemorrhoid.
Oh.
So there's a Dr. Asperger's.
So to answer your
There was a
question,
Dr. Asperger's.
So Mr. Hemorrhoid was fucking named after. So forever he'll be known as the
hemorrhoid's
ass
named after
doctor.
the doctor that discovered it.
Like, oh, so his lineage, they're all like hemorrhoid. Their last name's hemorrhoid, and motherfuckers are like, your last name's hemorrhoid? And they're like, yeah.
Right.
Like the ass fucking
but
protrusion? Yeah.
But like
yeah.
I said, as
Protrusion.
an ADHDer, the community is doing good. The people we are still struggling as individual people, but
Naturally.
but all humans, no matter what group you are and what community you're part of, still struggle.
Right.
well, let's wrap this up because it's like an hour of just talking about
Asperger's and.
every 15
Oh,
minutes.
okay. I want to explain this Star Trek timeline for you guys. There's so many
Just
Star
do it,
Trek
man.
series right now that's too many to even fans, hardcore fans like myself, are having a hard time keeping up. But I do encourage people to watch the new series of Star Trek: Strange New Worlds on Paramount Plus. Not sponsored.
Not explaining it.
But
damn autistic people. An hour and 15 minutes on ADHD.
But this boom, boom, boom. The
Chicka
timeline
chicka boom,
starts
boom.
from the Star Trek timeline is getting redefined every year.
Yeah, so what number is it truly?
It's okay. I have to do it from the earliest Enterprise, Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, don't
The
include.
original series, Next
Flash.
Generation, DS9, Voyager. Okay. I need something to.
I feel like you're just naming off parts of the spaceship.
No, there's Star Trek Enterprise, Star Trek.
So what's your phone doing?
Star Trek Strange New Worlds. The two,
Couldn't use your finger.
Number 4.
There's over 10 incarnations of Star Trek, counting the Kelvin time.
It's kind of like trying to figure out what fucking Mortal Kombat we're on, right?
It's getting that bad.
Yeah. Fuck.
13 actually, I think.
Fucking Scorpions got that goddamn thing. Get over here, fucking move every fucking chapter of Generation. So.
Well, I'm sorry for trying to I'm sorry for explaining my disorder, but Well, Mortal Kombat, I suck at, but I'm a Street Fighter.
I have a condition. I got a condition called hypersomnia. You know what that is?
What?
No, I'm serious. It's called hypersomnia.
You sleep too much?
Yes. But it's a form
that called
of
narcolepsy?
it is. It's a form of narcolepsy. But when I'm going fast and I'm going hard. But when I sit down and it's over with for good for like 8 hours straight.
Yeah, pretty much. But what I think is
He doesn't give a fuck.
I like I say, I'm sorry for trying to talk.
Yeah. He's like, nice story, bro. Back to what I was talking about. What's real cool is
Thanks for tuning
Star
in,
Trek.
Midwesttunez Podcast. Appreciate you,
Fucking
Roy.
peace.
Sorry about the public service thing.
Yeah.
Bye.
TechnicallyProtect.com.